Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast. Today we are going to be doing a solo episode. We are going to be talking about how to stay motivated in Q1 and gain momentum. Momentum is the name of the game, especially in the first quarter, especially in the beginning of the year. And what I'm finding is so many people that I'm speaking to on a daily and weekly basis are struggling like hell right now with finding the motivation to push through in a challenging market, push through in a market where they may feel like hope is gone. It's not the same of what it was. How am I going to make sure that I continue to win? I continue to do transactions. I continue to crush deals. And what I'm finding is that many people get stuck reliving the same story over and over in their head. In my opinion, that's how people become miserable. That's how people live the same lives, the same day, the same years, the same months. I don't think that's any way to live. So if you're tuning into this episode, if you're struggling to maintain that mindset, to maintain positive momentum in your life, I hope this is the little jolt, the little kick in the behind that you need to really snap out of it and find a way to get your motivation back, especially now when we're at a critical point in the year. When it's really time to get out there and get after it. I think that one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is doing the mundane tasks, right? The things that need to be done in order to move the needle. Maybe it's the client check-ins. Maybe it's calling your past clients. Maybe it's some of the administrative tasks if you don't have a team or you don't have any leverage behind you. But without these things being done, nothing moves forward in your business. You can't move the needle. For me, another thing that I personally struggle with is the winter, right? I am not a big fan of the winter. There will come a day when you will find me in the sunny state of Florida, most likely, just because we want to enjoy a little bit more sunshine, a little bit more outdoor activities. So I know a big population of my guests and listeners live in New Jersey, so you guys feel my pain. But the winter, I think, for anybody is real. It's a struggle for a lot of people. Once you get through the holidays, you're going through a change in seasons. It's just a different vibe, right? But what I found is that I needed to change my state. I needed to change the way that I approached my mindset about the winter. And really, I had to get to a place where I made a decision, and I really made a hardcore decision going into this winter, because I know there's so much pressure on me to step up as a leader, to lead our team, to lead the brokerage, to really push forward and charge people up, because that's the only way that I'm going to get to where I want to go. And the decision that I had to make is that I am no longer going to complain about disliking the winter. So instead of doing that, I found a different way to kind of look at it, and it was just embrace it and not be on a constant countdown of when is this going to be over, the countdown to April, the countdown to May that we all go through, or that many of us go through. And for me, it was just waking up with a different purpose, not being mad that it was cold outside, not being mad that the sun wasn't shining, and really getting to a different place and a different mindset. One hack for this, especially if you can pull it off, if you're able to do this, is I try to get away at least once a month, or at a bare minimum every 6 to 7 weeks. I try to get to sunshine. So in a few weeks, I'll be going to Las Vegas for a big real estate conference. Then we'll be going to Florida in March. We'll be going somewhere in April. And then by the time that May rolls around, it will be warm weather. It'll be springtime again. So another thing that I think, and the reason why many struggle with motivation, especially as a new year turns, is because they don't have the systems and the structures put in place to where they feel like they're starting at zero again. So I would not be doing you guys any justice or myself if I didn't reiterate this, but this is why I'm such a big proponent of passive income. When you have passive income streams, when you have rental properties, when you have dividend producing assets, right? When you have different angles coming at you, maybe you're flipping properties, maybe you have Airbnb, Maybe you have e-com stores, something to be able to not start at zero every year. It really helps you to be in such a better state of mind, knowing that you're not starting all the way at ground zero at the first floor of the building, and now it's going to be another long ride up until you get to where you want to go. So I would really implore you guys, look, you can't do this all in one day, right? But everything just takes one step in order to get the ball moving in that direction. So make a decision. If that's why you're struggling with motivation, then maybe it's something that you need to change. This brings up another topic that I really want to talk about. For me, I've been on a self-exploration, right? I've been on a self-exploration and a journey of how to get more in tune with why I feel the way that I feel at certain times, right? Maybe that's coaching for some people. Maybe that's therapy. Maybe that's going to a retreat. I have a men's retreat that I'm most likely going to go to in March. I'm just trying to work out some scheduling challenges. But I think that you need to start to learn who you are in order to start to figure out how to get to where you want to go. For me, that journey probably started around maybe 5 to 6 years ago. It would especially happen when my son was born, and I was trying to work some things out to figure out how to be a better dad, how to be a better husband. And what I found, especially over the past year, is I found so much improvement on just self-awareness. And what happens is when you're more aware of what sucks your energy, or maybe it's a business partnership, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's the way that you approach your morning or you approach your evening, right? But maybe it's just getting a little bit more self-aware into what is causing you to have a different lower state or a different lower energy level. What I found is that was an absolute game changer to being able to increase my motivation level and to get me to where I wanted to go and keep me calm. Like, not necessarily calm because I still like to have the killer mentality, because I'm just out there getting after it like I know a lot of you are, but how to be more self-aware in order to really move the needle in terms of the motivation level. Motivation is absolutely critical. So another thing is you need to know how to change your state of mind, your state of being. So I'll give you a tip that I do. Actually, 2 tips. The first tip is, if it's on my calendar, I am playing full out. I don't care what it is. I am not looking at my calendar and saying, I wish I didn't have to do that, or I wish I didn't have to take that meeting, or you know what, I kind of wish this appointment would cancel so that I can get home a little bit earlier. Or I kind of wish that, well, maybe this person would say that they can't meet next week because we were going to meet on Saturday. No matter what is on my calendar, I no longer have a mindset that this sucks, I don't want to do that. Because what starts to happen, guys, is you start to get that mindset. You start to embody that. You start to think about, man, what if I could do something differently? Or I hope that this one will cancel. Or I wish I didn't have to do this. It starts to affect your whole energy level. Instead, if you get up and you're ready to play all out, you're ready to just go full tilt, right, with the energy, you show up a lot differently. And I think that the vibrational energy that puts out to other people, especially people that you don't know, when you're in closing environments, when you're trying to recruit somebody to your company, to your movement, you're trying to sign a new client, all of that is very vibrational, and it really helps to put you in a position to win and a position to influence. So how you show up is everything. The other one is, you need a quick way to change your state, okay? So I'll give you a hack. One thing that I used to do when I first started running real estate companies is I would figure out a way to pump myself up so high that it didn't matter who got in my way. It didn't matter what phone call came in that was going to piss me off or derail me or distract me. I would find a way to get to a different vibrational state. Now, I will tell you, I learned that tip from Tony Robbins, from going to Unleash the Power Within, and a bunch of educational stuff that I've done. And also even a Tony Robbins coach helped me with that. So what I found is that when you could change your vibrational level and you can figure out a way to get to a different energy vibration and a different just state of being, you're much less likely to get derailed and go down a path of, I don't want to do this. So for me, one thing I do is I jump up and down, right? As crazy as that might sound to some people, but yes, I do that. So let's say if I have a big podcast interview, or I'm going to deliver a message to the company, or sometimes even when I need to change my state to go up and really deliver for a team meeting, or just have a call that I know that there's a lot riding on that, I'll jump up and down. I'll raise the energy vibration. I'll jump 10, 15 times. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time, and you see him do this at his events, but he's got a trampoline that just changes the state. Another thing is listening to something on a pretty high volume that's really impactful, right? So whether it's Les Brown, whether it's Jim Rohn, whether it's Tony, whether it's Ed Milet, somebody that's going to pump you up and distract yourself and get rid of any fear, etc. That's another way and another hack to really keep your motivation level high. So if you're struggling with this, one suggestion that I would give you is I would start your day with these little hacks and these little tricks. And also, you need to get around other people, guys. You need to get around other people. I think that the people that are still hanging out in this whole virtual world, that aren't interacting with other people, that aren't ever going into an office, I have a feeling that there's a lot of people that are struggling. There's a lot of people that are struggling to get connection, right? There's a lot of people that are just suffering in silence. I think that there's so much power in a tribe. There's so much power in getting around people that are doing what you want to do, or that are at a level that's a little bit higher than where you are currently. There's so much power in that. The last thing that I'm going to share with you guys that pumps me up all the time, my wife would attest to this if she was on this call, is set wild goals, okay? If you think that your goal is too low, or you think there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to hit this goal, the goal is not big enough. You need to set more intense goals. Andy Frisella said this. He said that there was never a huge company that was built on small, mediocre, nonsense goals. You can set attainable goals. I'm all about attainable goals, but you need a stretch goal. You need a goal that's really going to make you uncomfortable, or you're never going to be in a position to really have a breakthrough, right? To go to the next level, to get financially free, to make $1 million, like to do anything that you want to do. Maybe it's you want to retire in Maui. Maybe it's I want to have a beach house in Turks and Caicos, which is on my list. Maybe it's I want to spend the summer in Paris, right? My wife and I are talking right now about just all of our crazy travel plans. This is a really busy year for us with travel. We have a lot of things going on, and we want to raise our children in an environment where maybe every summer we are going somewhere, right? Or at least for a month at a clip. Maybe we're going to go live in California for a month. Maybe we're going to go live in the coast of Spain or Portugal, Italy, whatever, right? Life is about experiences. Now, some of you may think I'm going off on a tangent right now. I promise you, I'm not going off on a tangent. I'm saying to you, you have to have these kind of goals, okay? I don't care what they are, but if it's just like, oh yeah, I want to buy a new car by the end of the year, and that's really going to make me excited because I hit my goal. Like, the car is not going to increase your level of motivation enough to really make sure that you are in a position to stay like insanely motivated throughout the year. One for me, or one maybe that you want to try, is like retire early, right? I tell people all the time, like, I want everybody listening to this, and it's in my world and people that I coach and consult with, like, why should you have to work until you're 90 years old, right? Why should you even have to work until you're 70? Now, I'm not knocking anybody that is still working at these ages, but what I'm saying is that for the people that are in a lower age bracket right now, or let's just say like 30 to 50, right? Or even 30 to 55. You still have time, right? You're not necessarily running out of time, even though I have delivered that message before, because I think that a sense of urgency is absolutely critical in this current market that we're in. That's the only way to build something big. But you could do whatever you want to do in the next 5 to 7 years and just go on the warpath, right? Like, thank God, like everything in my business and my life right now is like, we're ready for takeoff. And like, I'm ready for anybody that wants to ride with us, that wants to take off. I would love to, for this podcast and for you to reach out and for us to help to get you to the next level. So set big goals that are going to scare you, that are going to make you uncomfortable, and that are going to make you take massive action. And then the final thing I will say on that is just make sure that the people that are in your life, that are in your business, that you guys are aligned. There's alignment, right? There's the saying about be, do, have, right? You need to follow these little principles in order to make sure that you're in alignment. And then when you're in alignment, it's kind of hard to tie it back to the purpose of this episode, but it's kind of hard to not have a high level of motivation in order to get to where you want to go. So that is it for today, guys. This was a really critical topic, I think, for a lot of people right now. And it's coming out at a time when we cannot let our foot off the gas. We need to keep pushing. We need to keep driving. We need to take market share. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not already, I would greatly, greatly appreciate if you could go and give the podcast a review, give us a share, tell somebody that you know about it. And if it's doing anything for you, it would mean the world to me if you just shot a note or if you shot some suggestions for what you would like for me to talk about or some guests that you would like to see come on the podcast. So that's it for today, guys. Greatly appreciate you. Keep getting after it.